These are big powerhouse art moves, which is why it's weird that nobody seems to do these. And as you watch me draw this, I dare you to go through all of these things in this video and try every single one of them because they are simple, they are free, and they will totally transform your art and completely transform your life too. But unfortunately, most artists won't. Now, this first tip is gonna completely combat your biggest vacuum of time. It's where it's just sucking away all of your productivity, all of your creativity, and all of your hopes and dreams too. And so the first thing that you wanna try is to put a hard cap limit on your consumption time. And the way I want you to think about this is that your content consumption is the killer of your content creation time. And now here's some things that I know you're gonna struggle with. You're gonna tell me like, well, Sean, it's so much easier said than done. All right, well, I got the most basic and easy way for you to do this, but go ahead and get a mechanical timer. You might recognize these things from Christmas time when you want your tree to turn on and off at very specific times. So plug that into the outlet right where your TV is if you're really somebody who's just caught up watching shows all the time. Or go ahead and put this onto the outlet that has your TV and your game system on it, okay? That way, at a given time, let's say that you're like every single night at 8 p.m., I need to be creating artwork at this time. Bam, it shuts off. You don't have any say. No matter what you're doing, boom. So if you're feeling a lack of discipline, put that on you. Let's say that you're also somebody right now who struggles with going in, just browsing online, on your computer, on social media. And let's just say that you're just heavily involved in the brain rot. I'm gonna give you big advice and strategies as we go through this video today on that too. Go ahead, turn off your Wi-Fi whenever you're supposed to be creating artwork. If you do this, although this might seem weird, it might seem hard at first, this is gonna propel you and eliminate your distraction, eliminate your choice to go ahead and do something that's gratifying for now for something that's gratifying forever. And I just want to remind you, you were put on this earth to do way more in real life than in a virtual life, and you can spend your entire life raising your stats virtually or raising your stats as an artist. Which one do you want? All right, so full disclosure here, I'm gonna get a little savage on this one here because I see this all the time, and honestly, I used to struggle with this one too. One of the things that I used to do would be that I would go ahead and I would start a new project and I'd make that sketch, I would make that whip, and then I would go ahead, boom, and I would post it up online, I would share it with people, and I'd be all proud and I'd be all happy, like, this is gonna be it, this is gonna be the one, this might blow up, this could be so cool. And then what would I do? I would get crickets. Have you ever been like this too? Have you been like, man, this is gonna be the one that people are gonna really notice and people are gonna wanna look at this one, or maybe you started a new thing. And the issue though with this one is that I really want you to just consider that you don't need a freaking parade every single time that you do something. How about this? Instead of you needing the validation of actually doing what you're doing, just do it. And so for this tip, one of the things I learned is that I just need to be consistent without all the fanfare, without people telling me that I'm great, without people telling me that this is the right way, without people validating all of my thoughts and feelings and my directions, okay? What you're doing right there is you're just constructing a codependent toxic relationship with complete randos online. And listen, if you go ahead and you actually just focus on what you need to do and you just be consistent, you just do the things that you want to do and you're consistent with your time, you're consistent with your efforts, you're consistent with your growth, then you have one major superpower that so many artists wish that they have, and this is how you're gonna build it, my friend. You have what you perceive as confidence, and confidence is not something that you have, it's not something that you're born with, it's just something that you build, and you build it by building trust in every single decision that you make, and every single time that you say, I'm gonna do this, and then guess what? You actually do it, then you start to build this morsel of trust. Imagine that every single decision that you make is like a grain of sand, and every single time that you do that, you eventually fill an entire jar of it. That's called trust. How's that sound? Because if you actually need somebody to go ahead and clap for you and pat you on the back and cheer for you every single time you do anything, well, then what happens if that all goes away? Well, I guess your art goes away too. You ever consider that? Just being consistent is the powerhouse move. Y'all listen, I heard that you've been working so hard that if you follow this next tip, I just want to reward you right now. I'm gonna send you on a retreat. And so I want you to think of this as your own art retreat. So obviously you have a life, you have responsibilities, but then outside of that, we tend to tell ourselves and we trick ourselves into saying everything that we think we have to do. Oh, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to go here and I have to be with them and I have to do this and I have to do that. And now this is going to sound oppositional to it, but I want to advise you on why this is so powerful and how I've been able to leverage this. But I want you to go ahead and just disappear for 3 months. So what that means is that you take care of your responsibilities, you take care of going to work, you take care of paying your bills, and outside of that, nope, you're not doing anything. And so by doing this, I just want to rip off the Band-Aid. You don't actually need to do that. You don't actually need to be around those people. You don't need to go to that event. You don't need to play that game. You don't need to watch that show. You don't need to do any of that. All you need to do is understand that that's just FOMO, all right? At the real core of this one, at the heart of this, and at the belly of the beast, you just have FOMO, okay? And when you battle FOMO, here's what you get out of that, is that you actually get this intense, burning self-love for yourself, okay? You start to learn how to value yourself because it's so easy for us. And honestly, like, we're kind of taught this life of servitude through our parents, through school, through our relationships, that we don't matter. And so for you as an artist, I want to put that at the forefront of it. You do matter because you being an artist, you can't remove the art from the artist. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing what you say you need to do, what you want to do, then you're failing everybody and you're showing up as the worst version of yourself, or at least a lesser version of yourself for everybody. That means that you're a worse employee, you're a worse spouse, you're a worse brother or sister, you're a worse child, and you're a worse mother or father, all because of the fact that you don't value yourself. And so by disappearing for 3 months, here's where I want to relax you right now. Everything's going to be the same. Like, nothing will happen. I've literally done this at multiple points, and I've done this as well with some other techniques, which I'll go ahead and talk to you about in a minute. And when I say work on yourself, specifically, I want you to enter 3 realms. I want you to specifically work on your finances, on your health, and on your art. If you do this, you are going to be a monster after it. And so I know how this seems, I know how this sounds, I know how this feels to you, and you might be rejecting this right now. But listen, yo, let's just put this into a different spin, in a different context right here. And let me just propose it like this. Go ahead and take yourself a little art retreat, okay? Because you've got no problem going to everything that you don't want to do, every single appointment that you hate, every single day of work that you don't want to go to, every single social engagement that you're compelled to go to, that you actually don't want to go to. And so take that time for yourself. This is your personal private art retreat. So this tip is incoming for y'all, but one of the worst enemies of your productivity and of you actually working on the life that you want instead of the life that you currently have right now is going to be social media. And so now what I'm gonna propose to you is this. I want you to please take a 3-month pause from social media. I wanna propose this to you. Just go ahead, take a boom, clean, hard break from it. And then on that break, I want you to go ahead and do a little bit of soul searching and just ask yourself, like, how much does this really mean? How much do I really need this? How much do I really value this? And now one little caveat I do want to throw up in there is that if you have a business that is directly tied to social media, and no, I'm not talking about commissions because nobody gets commissions off social media anyways, unless you have a big following. And I've gone ahead, I've made so much, a ridiculous amount of content, more than any other content creator on this entire platform, about why social media is the worst place for you to go for clients. But if you actually have like an Etsy shop, if you have a YouTube channel, then here's what I want to go ahead and put a little caveat to this. You're not allowed to go ahead and browse. You're not going to go ahead and look at the For You page. You're not going to go ahead and do anything on there except boom, put up your post, maybe respond to a client, maybe respond to some type of interest, and that's it. That's all you're allowed to do, okay? And from doing this here, you're going to be one of these weird few that still exist in this world that don't need social media. They can actually operate like a human being without it. Doesn't that sound great? Because honestly, like, that's where a lot of us relinquish our personal power, and that's just where we become slaves to consumption. And that's not you, friend, because you are a creator, aren't you? Now, the next easy and free thing that you should definitely do is go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, because listen, I'm here every single week pushing out content like this to actually help you to succeed, and to actually propel you forward. And if you're there for that too, then I will support you all the way. And hey, if you want some additional resources, you want some additional communities, go ahead and check out my Discord server. And if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, I've got some links down below as well to my one-on-one art mentorship. So go ahead and check that out. And then also now, I dare you to go ahead and try this next one. All right, let's get personal here now. Who in your life is a horrible, toxic influence? You have them, don't you? Come on, let me know right here. Who is it going to be? Who are the people or the person in your life right now that is really acting more like a vacuum than a battery? Who in your life is more of an emotional black hole that just takes everything from you and doesn't give anything back? Who are those people? Because one of the things, again, that I've always recognized is that you cannot remove the art from the artist. And if the artist is in pain because if you're in turmoil, your art tends to be in turmoil too. It's never the artwork's fault, y'all. And so to that point, what I want to encourage you to start to do right now is to create a drama drought. And you're going to realize from this segment right now how many sources of drama that you have that you need to go ahead and exile right now. And so here's my basic advice. If you have people in your life that are taking so much more from you than they're giving for you, I want you to please treat it just like it's a Discord server and you're a mod, okay? So first and foremost, if you've got somebody just like a little annoying, all right, go ahead and just distance yourself from them. Just don't respond. You can go ahead and put someone on a little bit of a timeout, okay? And they're gonna be okay. They're not gonna die from it. It's not that big of a deal, but you need to respect yourself. You need to not let people walk all over you and take advantage of you, okay? And then if they push that to the next level and there's somebody who's consistently toxic in your life and they're consistently bringing you down and they're causing pain, they're causing aggravation, okay? I want you to go ahead and just let them know, hey, look, we need to take a break. And that's it, all right? Clean, simple. We need to go ahead and we need to disengage. And then if they still don't get the drift, boom, then you're gonna ban them from your life, okay? And so by doing this though, this sounds weird and it sounds contradictory to what you've probably been told or you've been conditioned to. And listen, this can be your family, it could be your brothers, sisters, it could be your aunts and uncles, it could be your cousins, it can even be your parents. And I know that sounds weird because you're socially conditioned to have to give your unending, never-ending love to people, regardless of how they treat you, and that's total crap. Because as an adult, you have to mature out of this infantile state of mind that you owe your family something, that you owe people anything at all, and that the family that you're born with is the family that you die with. Because as an adult, the family that you're born into is not the family that you keep. The family that you keep is the one that you choose in your life. Let me just go ahead and put other toxic people out there. Do you have that friend that's always complaining about money, who's always complaining about how broke they are? Do you have that friend that always has drama every single time that you talk? Oh my God, and this 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 happened and life is so unfair. Do you have that friend who, just to spell it out, is just a professional victim? All right, it's time to go ahead and give yourself some distance from them, because you hearing that in your head is giving you permission to think that that's normal. It's giving you permission to underachieve. It's giving you permission to be weak. And if you want your artwork to be something of substance, you have to take care of your character as well. It can't always just be about what tool or technique do I use or any of that. It has to also be about yourself. You see how that works? So who in your life do you need to take a drama drought from? So here's one of my best art education techniques, and I endorse this 100,000%. This is by my own design. But here are some issues that I typically see when people are educating themselves or when they're self-taught artists. And if this is you, let me know down below. Do you watch so many tutorials and then you just get overwhelmed and you're like, which one do I do? Or do you see so many different versions of like, how do I do this technique? How do I do that technique? Or do you just do like thousands of sketches and then never do anything with them? You just create 50,000 freaking boxes and then you're like, but I want to make characters. How does this help me? Well, this will disrupt and forever change your life. So I call this technique the 5-2-1 learning principle. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to go ahead, and if you're going to, like, just say that you want to learn 1-point perspective, okay? Go ahead and do 5 practices. Then do 2 artworks where you bring it to a medium polish. And then you're going to do 1 final artwork where you really, really push yourself to bring it to the best level of it. And look, is this going to be perfect every single time? Heck no. And then let's also combine that with tutorials, because you might be like, well, Sean, I want to get really good at drawing faces, but I don't know how to do this, so I'm going to watch some tutorials. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and edit this then. We're going to call this the 3-5-2-1. I know it doesn't sound as good as 5-2-1, so I just call it 5-2-1. You are not allowed to watch more than 3 tutorials on any given topic and then try it. Because one of the things that we tend to do is we are really great at just spinning our wheels as artists. And we're like, I need to learn this, I need to learn this, I need to watch that, I need to try this. And so by doing this, here's what I really want to promote here, is that you need to hasten the process by which you are going to practice something apply it, and then give yourself a big project to implement it into. You can do this with, let's say that you want to do better hands, but you want to do better hands in a fantasy universe. Okay, so go ahead, practice 5 different hands where you're just going to do different gesture sketches. You're just kind of figure that out. Where's the lighting? Where are the values on that? Then you're going to do 2 versions. Maybe you're going to do like a bust of a character that's kind of doing that. And then you're going to go ahead and actually implement that into a full rendered artwork of like a mage that's casting a fireball, just to try it out. This is how you're going to feel more satisfied, you're going to feel more growth, and you're going to see more progress. Now, a weird phenomena that I've noted for a long time about artists is artists are very much okay with putting their art down, and they'll look at it and they'll laugh and, oh, that's so stupid, and this is weird, and this is not okay, and oh God, this is awful. What's wrong with me? My artwork sucks. It's never going to be better. It's always going to be like this. And I just want to go ahead and spell it out for you what you're doing. Is that by talking crap about your artwork, you're not lifting yourself up, you're not empowering yourself, you're not bringing confidence into your artwork, you're not allowing yourself to grow either there. All you're doing is giving yourself permission to fail. All that does is it's going to relinquish all the power that you have over what you could do for it, and it's just going to allow you to be mediocre and to underachieve what you're actually capable of, because you're just convincing yourself that you don't have what it takes. And so one of the easiest and honestly most free things to do is to practice more appreciation, is to actually practice more positive speak. And if you really suck at this, here's just a good way for you to just kind of flip that script right here. Imagine that you said that to a child. Like imagine that it was your younger brother, your younger sister, or just younger you. Imagine that it was just some random child that you don't know, they're super cute, and you just walked up to them and said like, you know what? Your art sucks. You're never gonna amount to everything. Your mom and dad, they're right. This is not for you. This is terrible. Can you imagine saying that to a kid? Can you imagine what type of reaction you would get from them from doing that? Because that's basically what you're doing to yourself. And if you wouldn't say that to another child, why in the world do you think it's going to benefit you to say it to yourself? So instead of doing that, what I'm going to encourage you to do is to start to practice more appreciation. Start to take a look at your artwork and be like, okay, cool. This might not be 100% what I wanted it to be. This might not have accomplished everything that I wanted. This might not be my best, most glorious artwork I've ever done. But I could see where I was going. But I could see the little ones. But I can see the little growth on there. But I can see now where I need to go. Because y'all, hear me on this one. There's no such thing as wasted time in art, all right? You either grow from something or you learn from something. And that's it. But you talking crap about your artwork, you're just turning yourself into your own toxic friend. And you really need to dump the heifer, okay? Because it's not doing anything good for you. Instead, start to appreciate what you've done, appreciate your labor, and don't appreciate only the end product. Appreciate all of the micro decisions that you made and appreciate your commitment to it, because that's how you're gonna sustain yourself over everybody else that wants to quit. How's that sound? Now, there's a very big zone of time that I'm just gonna say that you're probably going ahead and wasting, and if you're actually going to invest this time frame, then you're probably also going to be just straight up wasting it and not doing anything that you need to nor should. So this time frame I'm going to tell you is after midnight. And so one of my rules that I've given myself is that there's no fun after midnight. Like there is no watching shows, watching movies, playing video games. There is just no fun after midnight. And the reason why I'm going to challenge you to go ahead and implement this one too is simply because of the fact that after that time, you need to be focused on your betterment. And that is going to be done by either doing one of 2 very basic, simple things. Number 1, sleep. There's no reason why, especially if you have to get up the next morning, that you are still going at that point and you're playing games, you're watching shows. There's no point to it. You're just caught in a media consumption loop. That's not going to help you, friend. But then let's say that you do need to stay up past midnight. And what's the second one, Sean? Working on yourself, working on your artwork, working on the thing that you said, working on your project. Now, what this also tends to conflict itself with is the idea that you need to figure out like where you have kind of trained yourself on your productivity times. And just to challenge a lot of what you've heard, because there's conflicting different research on both ends of this one, okay? Most people will be like, oh, but Sean, I'm a night owl. I can only do something from 12 to 3. Oh, but Sean, I'm a morning dove. And then, I don't know, what you're a midday dove in the middle. So listen, instead of you trying to figure out what your spirit animal is and where you need to go, just understand this. You will be productive as a result of your conditioning, not as much as a part of your biology, is what the most conclusive evidence says about this. When you actually look at brain development, when you look at psychology, you can condition yourself to be productive and be creative at any time of the day. But you can train yourself in and out of that. And again, if you have an issue with this one, guess what? Mechanical timer, boom, everything turns off. Try it out. Now this tip, I actually recently just started to implement it. I started to do it over the last couple of months here, especially as I've been writing my dissertation for my doctorate program. I've just come to realize that there are certain times where certain weeks have to be wholly devoted towards one type of thing, and above all else, making loads of progress on there. So what I'm gonna challenge you on is to go ahead and make a push week for yourself, okay? And this is where you wanna give yourself a goal that is greater than what you would typically give yourself in a typical week, okay? And so the big emphasis point on here that I really wanna share with you as to why I really endorse this philosophy is because you need to get used to growing outside of your comfort zone, because as artists, we like to stay inside of our little shells. We like to stay inside of our safety bubbles, don't we? And so if you actually give yourself permission to just really push, and no matter what happens, you're gonna get it done, and you're gonna focus on it, and you're going to do it. You're gonna bring a lot of satisfaction right here, and you're gonna also prove to yourself that you're worth trusting. And what does that do? That builds confidence. You see how that works? And then look, you can also go ahead and evolve it past there. So I've done it not only artistically, and I've given myself multiple push weeks in a month. So like, for example, one week I'll be like, look, I gotta be on point for my diet this week. And my next one, I'm gonna be really on point with my exercise. And the next one, I'm gonna be really on point with my dissertation writing. My next one, I'm gonna be really on point with my artwork and on my content creation this week. And the next week, I might even be like, okay, look, I'm gonna be really on point. I'm gonna record 4 videos this week because I want to make sure that I get stuff done. Give yourself a push week so that you actually have something to stretch towards to prove to yourself how much you're capable of, because y'all are capable of an infinite amount of potential. But what we tend to do is we tend to lock that potential behind these bars and cages that we construct ourselves, not that are actually written to the fabric of the universe. How's that sound? Now on that last topic, here's something that's gonna come up a lot. You might give yourself a big goal. Do you ever give yourself a big goal on one week or one day or over the course of a few days, and then guess what? It doesn't happen. You didn't hit it. And then more often than not, what I tend to notice that we do is that we just like brush it off our shoulder like, it didn't really matter that much anyways. They're like, oh, well, I'll just keep going with it. And so what I want to also urge you to do, along with giving yourself a good push week goal, is to go ahead and make sure that you compensate the next week. Because one of the worst things that you can do is to teach yourself that you're okay with failing yourself, with being okay with letting yourself down. And that's not to mean that you can't give yourself grace when you've been horribly sick or there's a death in the family or some extenuating circumstances. But when you just didn't feel like it, that's not an excuse. That's you just giving into the lowest form of yourself. That's you not living the best version of yourself. That's not you building the best version of yourself, friend. That's you relinquishing all of that potential. And so this happens to me all the time, just to be perfectly honest. I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so far behind on this video. Okay, I gotta make sure that I compensate for it. I have to stay up a little bit more. I have to instead prioritize this thing over that thing that I thought I was gonna do. Maybe too, you need to go ahead and you just need to remove yourself from all social situations. Maybe you need to just go ahead and say like, look, I'm not gonna play any video games. Okay, look, I'm really behind on this project that I said I was gonna launch. I announced it to everybody and I'm not gonna be there. No gaming this month whatsoever. And so if you're somebody right now that has a big goal, tell me what it is down below and tell me what do you want to do now to compensate for it? How are you going to course correct it? Because if you teach yourself that it is okay to let yourself down, you're never going to get out of that cycle. And I guarantee you that in 10 years from this very moment in time, you're going to be like, oh man, I really wish that I could have done that, but I didn't. Do you want that to be you? This is how you're going to do better. All right, so for all my digital art friends out here, just like me, let me just paint this picture for you as what you typically go through, especially if you're newer into this and you haven't figured this one out. But when I was first starting out, one of my greatest obsessions was brushes. You're gonna Google search up like, oh, where do I get these brushes? How do I find these brushes? And oh, I don't know how to draw trees. Let me find tree brushes. And oh, I don't know how to draw rocks. Let me draw rock brushes. And like, I don't really know how to draw dogs. Are there dog brushes? And one of the things that I really want to let you know is that your brushes don't matter that much. Like they're not that significant of a feature of your artwork if you're a digital artist, okay? And so to challenge all that and actually help you become a better digital artist, friend, here's what I challenge you with. Just use a hard brown brush. Like literally for the next month, Just challenge yourself, okay, look, I can only use a hard round brush, and that's all. Instead of like us actually trying to learn, how to paint, because I'm just gonna go ahead and expound upon this for you if you haven't heard this, but digital painting and actual painting, there's not that much of a difference between it. And I'm somebody that is a big time traditional painter as well. I painted in watercolors, oils, pastels, and tempera, everything. I've gone ahead and I've done it all, okay? Listen, it's a very similar feel. It's not 100%, but it's roughly like 80-ish%, okay? And so if you actually understand this principle, you actually learn how to paint, you actually learn how to blend colors, you actually learn how to create your forms, you actually learn how to create your edges, okay? And what I would instead focus you on, instead of like, how do I use this brush, or how do I find a brush for this? Do you have a brush for that? Is just focus on your basics. Just focus on how do you blend? How do you layer colors together? How do you go ahead and create values on there? Because that matters more. No one's gonna be that impressed with like, whoa, look at the brushwork up on here when you're just starting out, or when you're in the intermediate phase when you haven't figured out your style. But by doing this is how you're gonna do it, because your brushwork should not be the main staple when you are just starting out, when you're just growing yourself as a digital artist. You need to worry about those fundamentals. And I hate the word fundamentals, because oftentimes when people say you need to work on your fundamentals, they're really saying to you, I really don't care to give you any insightful advice. But this is one of them. It's like on your volumes, on your colors, on your values. This is what matters more. So just push yourself into doing just hard round brush work for 1 month. See what happens. All right, popular struggle incoming here. Let me just ask you, do you get references? How many references do you get? And does it take you a long time? Like I just, for example here, I've personally gone ahead and gone down this dark rabbit hole, taken like hours to get all the references. And listen, I've literally seen students in my art classes do this for like 90 minutes and they have like 2 pictures. And so y'all, after pulling my hair out for so long, here is my principle that I've gone ahead and I've tried out. I want to invite you to do it too, is I call this the 2-minute rule. Y'all, when you're looking for references, if you cannot find what you are looking for within 2 minutes, it's not Google's fault, it's not Bing's fault, it's not Pinterest's fault, it's the fault of your words. After 2 minutes, if you can't find exactly what you're looking for or something similar to it, then go ahead and change your search terms. Then go ahead and do it again. Then go ahead and do it again. What you need to do is shortcut the process again from you actually looking up your ideas, your inspirations, your concepts, your ideations. You need to go ahead and fast track that process into you actually blazing into production time, okay? And if you implement this 2-minute rule, life will change for you forever for the best. And listen, you can also go ahead and just apply this principle while we're here talking about references. I've got a lot to say about references, okay? First off, you need them. If you're gonna go ahead and make something that you're really serious about, I would definitely recommend that you get at least 15 to 20 references, which is a big opposition for everybody here that starts out with like 1 or 2. Is that you? No shame. I've done that too. And then 2, while you're searching up all those references, don't look for one-to-ones. Don't look for, oh, this is exactly what I want. Look for possibilities. When I'm looking up references, I'm not looking for, oh, it's gotta be exactly like that, or her face is like that, or her hair is exactly like that. I'm like, could be like this, could be like that, could be like this, could be like that. Because it's so much more time efficient for you to have possibilities than exactness. Because guess what? You've experienced this too, haven't you? You ever experienced like, oh, I thought this is gonna work, but oh, dang it, now it doesn't. And then you gotta go ahead and do the Google search all over again, right? Complete waste of your time. 2 minutes, 15 to 20 references per artwork that you want to do, and look for possibilities over precision. How's that? Now, above all else, one of the things that's definitely going to hit you hard that you definitely need to know is how to actually take what you're doing right now and how to change your life from it. And when I take a look at where I've come from and the struggles I've had to overcome as an artist, and most definitely as a person, as a human being right here, I can really boil it down to 10 things that I did that totally transformed my life. And I had to change these or else I was gonna be stuck in a rut, much like you might be feeling. And to check that out, you can go ahead and see this video right here where I go ahead and tell you all my secrets. So go ahead and check it out. If this helped you, please share it with somebody that you know. Thanks, and see you next time.